Hey, what's up guys, it's Mark Yoon, and today I'm bringing another hopefully exciting video. So continuing on with our lore series today, we have Raphael. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it, starting with his new timeline biography. Born to France's aristocratic Souriel family, Raphael was taught in the ways of the upper classes from a young age. When he was older, he learned medical practices and was rigorously trained in the art of swordsmanship. He used his knowledge and talent with the rapier to keep his family on top during the political wars that were common in those times. His cold nature, though, gained him many enemies. When the political balance shifted during the Evil Seed event, his family handed him over to the enemy to save themselves. Raphael escaped to the slums, where he was saved by a young girl by the name of Amy. He had never known such charity, so her actions touched his heart deeply, and from that moment he dedicated his life to hers. Despite fleeing with Amy across to the border of Spain, Raphael ended up returning to the southern France. Hiding his name, he served at the household of a wealthy Lord Damas. Then, after gaining the rich man's trust, he poisoned him, claiming his fortune was and home for himself. While investigating the evil seed phenomenon that had changed his life, he came across some of the documents written by a person referring to themselves as a scholar of the future. The writings contain information on Soul Edge, which caught Raphael's attention. Maybe if he could get his hands on that sword, he could use it on the warring politicians and aristocrats who had taken his previous life from him. Perhaps they would fight over the powerful sword, and ultimately fall victim to it. Raphael's smile became tinged with madness. And Soul Edge, he could cut the conflict and build a new world for Amy. In other Soul Chronicles, Raphael appeared in a nightmare Amy experienced where he was attacked by Aswell. When he was escaping from those who wanted him dead after his exile, instead of being saved by Amy, Raphael was killed by his pursuers and transformed into a Malfested. Then in Libra of Souls, Raphael offered the conduit to stay in his home as thanks for protecting Amy. During a night duel, it is revealed that Raphael actually spiked the conduit's dinner with sedatives in order to paralyze him. Having deduced that the conduit is connected to Soul Edge, Raphael asked that he be given the rest of the report. Having been raised in the upper classes of the French nobility, Raphael is aware of the deadly game needed to survive. Cunning, intelligent, and ruthless, Raphael looks down upon most others as beneath him, simply pawns for him to use and to discard in order to further his own goals. The exception to this is Amy, the one person who ever showed him a moment of kindness. He is utterly devoted to her and decides creating a new world which she could be happy regardless of the casualties of his actions might cause. If it weren't for Amy, Raphael would have been turned into a mindless Malfested. La Rapier de Souriel. The fighting style of the Souriel family for generations, designed for use with the rapier. In an age of bloody political fighting, one of the many traits of the noble was expected to show was strength of arm. Even if an insult did not lead directly to a duel, allowing a slight to stand unchallenged would be a stain on your good name. After abandoning his family name and losing his home and purpose, Raphael's swordsmanship was no longer about defending his honor, but a matter of life and death. While living as a vagabond in Spain, he engaged in many battles, improving his skills until they far exceeded anything of his family's classic La Rapia de Souriel style could offer. When Raphael chose to seek Soul Edge, he set out on a path that few have ever willingly walked. On this dangerous journey, his skills with the sword would prove to be his most reliable ally. In this new timeline, we get to see a lot more of Raphael than we did in the past. A lot more of his cunning and a lot more of his skill to get what he wants done. But we also see why, which is a big reason for pause that we haven't gotten in the past. We now see that Amy is his adopted daughter only because of the fact that she saved him while he was a vagabond in Spain. So obviously he's lost a lot and he's gained very little, so it's easier to see what has become of him in this time around. Though I have to say that I do miss a couple of the supernatural aspects to his character from the past. I was always weird with him being a vampire, but then in the end it kind of turned into a exciting part of his character, as opposed to other characters who kind of were either just absorbed by Soul Edge or Soul Blade at that time. So it was really nice to see not only his relationship with Amy, who I believe was his actual biological daughter in the past, but now an ex-vampire from a family fortune that's gone. Obviously he's not a vampire in this timeline, not as of yet anyway, but it's nice to see that he's actually gained what he's gained through his own cunning and his own practical mind and the way that he utilizes his swordsmanship and constantly improves on the swordsmanship that his family bestowed upon him. So it's not only just about him and Amy anymore. I think that Raphael has actually truly come into his own as a character. I've never really been that interested in Raphael in the past, except for the whole vampire thing. Mainly because of the fact that I was never really good with the rapier as a weapon style. But I do actually respect the character a lot now, and it's leading me to actually use him more often. I do prefer Amy's fighting style with the rapier over his, mainly because of certain speeds and instead of just countering. But I do like Raphael a lot more than I used to, and I dare say that they've actually improved upon the character. Now, there's some people that are probably going to disagree with me and like his original version, and you're completely within your rights to do so. This is just a personal taste of my own. As somebody who writes stories myself, I do like to see the kind of inner struggle manifest in an outward way and how it affects other people around other people. Because when it comes down to it, stories are based on characters' connections with each other. And we see the softer side of him with Amy, as well as his more cunning side when trying to find Soul Edge and when he wants to gain back power and wealth and whatnot. Now, obviously, he's got his personality being cold from being an aristocrat all those years, and being raised in that such a cold environment would turn him into that person. So Amy kind of saved him in more than one way. She kind of brought out his humanity as well as his life. So I think it would be really interesting if his nightmares actually came to fruition, and we see the fact that Amy never saved him, but he did become malfested, and maybe two of them are going to show up in my malfested story that I'm going to talk about. But I am going to give his rapier style more of a chance, and I do like the new backstory. But now it's time for me to turn the question over to you guys. Do you prefer this new timeline version of Raphael, who actually has a story that's probably most changed from the past stories? Or do you prefer his original take? Any and all thoughts are always welcome in the comment section down below, as well as conversations with each other, not just me. And I know that, like, a lot of you guys are going to give your insights, and I like reading them, so I can't wait to go down the comment section down below and see you there. And as always, guys, thank you, and thank you.
Hey, what's up, guys? Have you always wanted some sweet Mark Yoon merch? Maybe a thick U shirt, maybe a shirt from Squirt, maybe my pretty face with my logo all over your body, or a throw pillow, or blanket, or anything? Well, you're in luck, because I just launched my merch store, and it is going to be available on Redbubble, and you will find a link to it in my description box down below. It's got a lot of quality content, and a lot of good stuff for you to pick up, so you can show your support for the channel, and just rep Mark Yoon. Alright, guys, as always, thick U.